What's happening? My name's Joe Morris. What are you doing?
Hey guys, my name is Joseph Morris. I'm 18 years of age. I'm a surfer from Wales, and in this video I'm going to be doing a board review of 3 boards I've selected from behind me. I'm going to tell you about them, give you information, and if I have any stories or memories on each board, then I'll show you as well with a bit of B-roll in the background. Thank you very much. Hope you enjoy. Let's get to it. Onwards. The first surfboard I'm going to be reviewing is my competition surfboard. I'll show you it now.
So we'll see what happens. Here we go. White and blue up and riding.
Ooh, Joseph Morris. For Joseph Morris,
A Welsh surfer.
Joseph Morris, the winner of that last heat. Low seed, taking out the top seed. Can you believe it? On Joseph Morris of Wales. More for him to come in round 2.
Yeah, the Welshman, proudly wearing the Welsh flag around his shoulders.
Martin had a dream. Kendrick have a dream. All my life I want money and power. Respect my mind or die from last child. I pray my dick get big as the Eiffel Tower, so I can fuck the world for 72 hours. Goddamn, I feel amazing. Damn, I'm in the matrix. My mind is living on cloud 9 and this 9 is never on vacation. Start up that Maserati and vroom, vroom, I'm racing. Popping pills in the lobby and I pray they don't find her naked. And I pray you niggas is agent. Shooters go after Judas. Jesus Christ, if I live life on my knees, ain't no need to do this. Park it in front of Lunas. Next to that church is chicken. All you pussies is losers. All my niggas is winners. Screaming all my life. I want money and power. Respect my mind or die from less shot. I pray my dick get big as the Eiffel Tower, so I can fuck the world for 72 hours. Goddamn, I got bitches. Goddamn, I got bitches. Damn, I got bitches. Wifey, girlfriend, and mistresses. All my life I want money and power. Respect my mind or die from less shot. I got 25 lighter on my dresser. Yes sir, but fire to that ass, body cast on a stretcher. And her body got that ass that a ruler couldn't measure. And it make me come fast, but I never get embarrassed. And I recognize you have what I've been wanting since that record that Adina Howard had. Pop it fast to impress her. She rolling, I'm holding my scrotum imposing. This voice here is golden, so fuck y'all, I goes in. And all my life I want money and power. Respect my mind or die from less shout. I pray my dick get big as the Eiffel Tower, so I can fuck the world for 72 hours. Goddamn, I got bitches. Damn, I got bitches. Damn, I got bitches. Wifey, girlfriend, and mistresses. All my life I want money and power. Respect my mind, no nigga, it's go time. I rollin' dough with a good grind, and I run and hope with a big time. That's a relay race with a bouquet. They say, can you go marry mine?
This board, the tail is a rounded pin. This means it helps in flat and weak sections of the wave, so you can get through it a lot easier. However, when you put it in the right position, it feels really loose and it's a lot easier to slide the tail to do more performance enhancing turns. It also holds really well in barrels and big waves. This helps a lot as it makes it a really good all-round board, so that is always a go-to in contest surfing if you have no idea what the conditions are going to be on the day. My memory on this board is I was selected to go to California for the World Championships with the Welsh team where I was captain. Wales in surfing is quite a not very popular team to be supporting, as the waves just ain't as good and we don't really have the facilities where we live. However, I managed to come 31st in the world, which is a massive achievement to me in the under-18s. This was my last year. I'll never forget the moment, walking onto the beach, having commentators say my name and calling me an underdog, and it was a really proud moment for me, representing my country and for my family. My gun. This board is quite different to a lot of boards that you'll probably see in this country. It's very popular in Hawaii and places where they get a lot bigger waves really. This board is 7 foot tall, which for surfboards, that's a massive difference compared to a 5.9. It's also a lot thicker. It's 3.5 inches thick, which is a massive difference. And it's also a lot wider, 20 inches. The tailless on this is a pin tail. However, it's a lot different to a normal pin tail. It's a lot more sharper. This is because it'll hold a lot more and bigger waves when I'm going a lot faster than normal. And I have so much faith in the tail when I'm turning away from the white water where you want to avoid. Now, going into detail with the dimensions, 7 foot is a very big board. The reason why you want this height is because on big waves, you're not going to be doing turns and performance turns. On really big waves, your main goal is to get to the end of the wave without falling off, because in waves that big, if you fall off, you can be in a lot of trouble. It's a very big risk. So for that, the waves that are that big, they are a lot faster than smaller waves, and the height allows you to paddle a lot faster and get into waves a lot quicker, which is a massive help on big waves, because the more danger you put yourself in, the more risk you have of getting yourself hurt. The width as well also goes towards more paddling speed, but it also has to stay quite narrow, because you do want to do a bottom turn to get away from the white water, so you are going to be turning your board a little bit. So having it a little bit thinner than you would imagine for that height is a massive difference. The thickness, again, you just want to be above the water, bigger surface area, and it helps so much with paddling speed, and the rail still holds really well when doing a turn away from the wave. My memory on this board was in Hawaii. It was the last day and a hurricane had been announced to come in that day. So in the first morning, got up at 5 in the morning, and you know, it was really nerve-wracking listening to music, just trying to take your mind off it. You could hear the ocean from where we were because of how close we were to the beach, and the waves, the size of them was mental. And everyone had their own way of preparing that day. Some people went for a run in the morning, some people decided to just have breakfast, treat it normally, some people decided to listen to music to pump themselves up. I was just getting my board ready. I took an hour and a half to get this board ready because of the size of it, and I just wanted to have trust in my equipment to make sure that it was well. So the wave, which I'll show now, this wave means a lot to me. It's one of the biggest waves that I have on video of me surfing. I know I fell at the end of it, but it was just all part of the experience, and I'll show you my initial reaction once I got onto the beach after it now.
Oh, I thought I was going to die at one point though. When I took off on it and I saw the thing close out, I was like, why have I put myself in this position?
As you can see, I was really happy with my overall performance in that day. Just to come out from Wales and not be, you know, the person you'd think to ride waves that big was amazing, because you never really see waves that big in Wales ever. And I got a lot of respect off all of the people in Hawaii and all of the local people just for going out there and catching a wave on top. Gave me a lot of respect from everyone else, and it was a really proud moment in my surfing career. My third and final board is a squash tail. This memory, the reason I put this board in was because of the memory I had with it. It wasn't the best memory I've ever had in my life. It was when I was in Hawaii on a different time to the last time. I was a little bit younger, and I was surfing, and a 11-year-old kid next to me got attacked by a 8-foot tiger shark, I believe.
A 10-year-old boy who was attacked by a shark in Makaha yesterday.
It was traumatizing at the time. There was a lot of blood, and it was hard to get over. The whole day was quite intense after that. Watching the kid get dragged out of the sea and by the lifeguards, and knowing I had to be surfing for another week after that was playing in my mind quite a lot. But this board that I'm showing you now is the board that I was riding at the time, so I'm keeping it just as a reminder of what happened, and just one of those memories that will never leave my mind. This board is a 5'6", because it was a few years ago. I was slightly shorter, so you know, I like to keep the same height difference from my body to my board, so that I know that it still turns really well and it's still light enough for me. Obviously, because I was shorter and the board was smaller, I had to have it as a 15 3/8. This is very narrow, but at the time I wasn't as strong or physically fit as I am now, so it was easier for me to move the board around a lot quicker, way more lighter for me. And because I was young and quite light, I could still paddle the board really easily. It was only 2 inches, so half an inch is quite a big difference, but again, because I was so light, I was able to paddle the board well, and it held rail really well. So the fin setup was a thruster again, so it was my go-to. I never really have anything apart from a thruster. This reason because I trust it so well, as I explained on my first surfboard. The tail on this one was a squash, so this is a very good all-round tail. And the tail is where really everything holds. It's the purpose of your board. What tail you have is what purpose your board is, and the squash is a really good all-round board. It's a good starter board, which is why I probably had it at the time. It means it's really good at turns, and it can surf smaller waves because it has that hold, which is really good, but it can be quite slow through flatter sections. So in Hawaii, using that tail, I felt like I had trust in it, because in Hawaii you don't really have flatter sections of the wave. It had a good hold in the waves, that size, about small to medium sized waves, has really good hold in it, so it's a very good trustworthy tail to have on that day. I really enjoy that board. It's probably one of my favourite boards. It's a real shame that I had such a memory like that on that board, but I'll show you some videos of me surfing it, or trying to surf it now. As you can see, it's not as good as my other boards now, because it's just purely because of how small it is, but it's still good to have a fun surf on a board that's not used to you. So those are my boards. I'm going to review all of them from 1 to 5 now. Here we go. To conclude my video, guys, I've just given you a brief rundown of 3 of my boards that I have behind me. So I've talked to you. I hope you've learned a little bit about what dimensions mean. I hope you have an understanding of how I use dimensions to fit my surfing and what I want to do. Just remember that height gives you paddling power, but it does make it more heavier if you're trying turns. Width gives you more paddling speed again because of a bigger surface area. However, it may jeopardise some of your manoeuvrability on the wave due to how fat the board is and how much it weighs. The thickness of the board is used for paddling power again, and paddling speed. Just because how thick it is, you have a lot more board that can float and glide over the water a lot easier when you're paddling. However, the more thickness you put on, the more chance you have of digging rails and not being able to do as tight turns. Concave, which I never touched on in this video. All of my boards have double concave. The rails and the board moves in a little bit towards the centre. This is because it utilises the flow of the water behind you to shoot it towards your fins. Shooting it towards your fins gives you a lot more drive when surfing, so you can get a lot more speed when you're on the wave, which is a massive help. I think using concave is very underrated in surfing, and I think loads of people need to know more about it. All of my boards are thruster setups. You need to remember that thruster is probably the go-to at this time. You know, surfing's changing so much day by day that you never know what's going to come around the corner, but at the moment, thruster setup with the 3 surfboard fins, it is a massive go-to for everyone who's surfing, just because the middle fin gives you so much drive, and the 2 fins on each side, they're such good stabilizers, and if you know what size fins to use, then you are onto a really good board and a really good start to creating a board. Again, the tails that I used, they are very popular tails. This is because They are just the best tails to use. Apart, the only other tail that I would tell someone to go to is a swallowtail if they were to be surfing smaller waves, just because the drive comes off the two tips and it helps so much gaining speed and getting through flat sections. Swallowtails also do work really well with twin fins, just because those two fins on each side do give you a lot of drive if you take out the middle fin, and it gives you a lot more slide and flare when you're kicking the back foot out in performance enhancing turns. As far as that goes, that's all the equipment, that's all the dimensions and all the different things I'm going to be talking. Thanks guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. See you in the next one. I done that, I'm going to cut that out as well if I ended the video.